Have you looked at your partner and thought, I really love you, I still want to be with you, but is this really as good as it gets? Now, the thing is, nothing major has happened. There wasn't this full affair, there wasn't a huge argument, they're still the same person, but somehow the relationship just feels flat. It feels predictable, it feels heavy. You find yourself having the same conversations, doing the same things, even reacting the same way, right? When you have an argument, you're literally living the same experience over and over again. And you keep wondering, why can't we have what we had in the beginning? Or is this just what long-term relationships become? The spark doesn't disappear because you've been together for a long time. It disappears because somewhere along the way, you both kept growing, but your relationship stopped growing with you. And once that happens, you don't need more effort. You need a new relationship. And I don't mean with someone else, I mean with each other. Because most people believe that there are only two people in a relationship. You're thinking there's me and there's my partner. But there's also the relationship itself, and the relationship has its own identity, its own habits, its own emotional culture, its own traditions, its own way of handling conflict, its own vision of the future. And in the beginning, that relationship was growing almost every day. Both of you kept feeding it. You were discovering each other. You were creating traditions. You were making memories. You were trying new experiences. You were talking about your future. And the relationship itself was being fed with all this nourishment, and it was alive because it was constantly something new. But slowly, without either of you noticing, growth started being replaced by maintenance. So you stopped actually creating the relationship and putting newness into it. And you started just maintaining the one that you created years ago. And that's when the relationship begins to feel smaller than the people inside it. Relationships do not become stale overnight. They become stale through thousands of tiny unconscious agreements. And without ever saying it, one of you becomes the strong one, or the other one becomes the emotional one. One is the one that always plans and time keeps and makes sure they're punctual, and the other one just wants to go with the flow and wants to be spontaneous. One person tends to apologize most of the time. The other one avoids difficult conversations. One might keep the peace while the other one carries the emotional load. None of these roles are necessarily unhealthy. The problem is that they stopped being choices. They started becoming identities, and eventually you stopped meeting each other as two evolving human beings, and you started to meet each other's roles. Now, you already probably know how they're going to respond. I hear people say all the time, if I say this, I know what he's going to say, or she's going to have this predictable reaction. You already know who's going to be the one to compromise, who's going to be the one to withdraw. You already know how that whole conversation will go. And this is really hard when I work with clients when they come to me like that, because they already have planned out everything in their head because it's happened 100 times before. And what the work I do with them is about understanding that we are now creating a new relationship and we are creating new situations with new outcomes so that the relationship stops becoming efficient and maintained, and it actually starts becoming alive, and you start becoming curious, and you start become loving. A lot of people say you need more date nights, you need more time with each other. But the thing is, this advice can fall short because you can book the holidays, you can go on date nights, you can communicate more. None of these things are bad, they're all good. But when you don't actually address what's actually happened, you can spend 2 incredible weeks away together. You can maybe laugh more, relax more, be intimate. And then you come home, you walk through the front door, and within 20 minutes, you're both back inside the exact same relationship because the scenery changed. The relationship didn't. Its identity stayed exactly the same. And if you relate to each other in the same way, then you're going to get the same outcomes. If you want to revive a relationship, we've really got to stop asking, how do we get back to how we used to be? Because the thing is, you're never going to go back to that place. Those two people don't exist anymore. You are in a new time, and you are not even that person that you were at that time. And that's absolutely fine. That's okay. We have to start asking, who have I become now in this relationship? What parts of me have grown? What parts have I hidden? What dreams have I stopped talking about? What curiosity have I lost? What passions have I put aside? Your partner may know the version of you that pays the bills or organizes the house or parents the children or keeps your business running, but they haven't met the version of you that's emerged over the last 5 years. Have you spoken about the new ideas that you have, the new confidence, the new desires, the new fears, the new dreams? Have you given a vision to your relationship, or are you only giving a vision to your own life? Because here's the thing, when people say, I've got a vision board or I know what I'm creating, they just tend to put what they want, but the relationship has its own identity outside of you and outside of your partner. And one of the greatest gifts that you can give your relationship is continuing to become someone new, and not because you're changing into someone else, but because you're allowing more of yourself to be seen and bringing more of yourself into the relationship, but also acknowledging that the relationship also has an identity, and that identity is built from hidden patterns that both people are bringing into it. And you want to consciously upgrade that. And if you're curious to discover some of the patterns that you've been repeating in relationships, then you can take my free survival archetype quiz down below in the description. So this is the conversation almost no couples ever have, right? So they talk about their careers, their children, their money, their holidays, but they never ask who is this relationship becoming? Not who are you becoming, not who is your partner becoming. Who are we becoming? What no longer fits us? What have we outgrown? What traditions that we're, participating in belongs to an earlier chapter of our lives? What kind of relationships are we consciously creating now? Maybe your relationship's identity was built around surviving. Maybe you were just following your dreams at that time and now you've built your dreams. So that's going to require a different version of you. Or now it needs to be built around adventure. Maybe initially the relationship was built around raising children, and now it needs to be built around discovering each other again. Maybe it used to be built for security, and now it's ready for playfulness. Because every chapter of your life asks you to become someone new, and it also asks your relationship to become something new. If the relationship stays frozen, when the people inside it keep evolving, eventually it will feel like you've outgrown each other. Maybe you might even say, do I even love this person? The thing is, it's not always about love. You have just outgrown the old identity of the relationship and you haven't upgraded it. It's like renovating a house, right? If you have a house and you renovated it 20 years ago and you loved it 20 years ago, and you felt all these emotions and feelings and ways of relating with it 20 years ago, and now it's 20 years later, and you have changed. You've changed. Maybe the way you live in your house has changed, but you haven't renovated your house. It's literally the same thing. Start becoming curious again, because one of the greatest dangers in a long-term relationship is believing that you've already figured each other out. You already know how things are going to go. You actually haven't. You probably only know 30% of the person. We're like, as humans, we're so multi-dimensional. We are growing all the time. We have so many branches that come from us, and curiosity can die. And when curiosity dies, and you think you already know someone and you're just not interested, connection begins to fade. So start having different conversations, ask different questions. Don't just ask, like, how was your day? Ask something brand new. What are you creating this year? What are we creating this year? Create rituals that you have never tried in the relationship. Start getting creative. Start seeing each other in new environments. Start doing different things with each other. Support dreams that didn't exist 5 years ago. This is something that is really important, because dreams that we have and desires that we have connect us to identities that we truly want to live. And then you can upgrade your relationship for that as well. Stop relating to the person that you married 20 years ago. Start relating to the person sitting in front of you today. If you could meet the person right now in your life today as a brand new person, how would it be? Like, what would you notice about them that's different? Because really, they're not the same person, and neither are you. So, people often ask, how do you revive a long-term relationship? Now, you don't revive it by trying to recreate the beginning, you revive it by creating a new beginning. And this is not just one time, this is again and again and again. Because just like chances are, if you're here, you're really into self-evolution and self-mastery and personal development and connecting to the higher part of you. So just like you are going to continually evolve, your relationship is also going to continuously evolve. And it does that. Some people say, I'm done with this relationship and I'm going to move on to another one. That can work. Sometimes it's the truth. Sometimes that's true for you, and sometimes it isn't. Sometimes you just need to upgrade the current relationship that you have. They are not static relationships, they are living systems. They either evolve or they slowly just become like a museum of who you used to be. And the strongest couples understand something that people never really do. They're not just two lives growing inside a relationship, there are three: you, your partner, and the relationship that you're creating together. And when all three continue to evolve, love doesn't just survive, it keeps giving you new reasons to fall in love with each other.